So I did a thing, and with a thing I meant to say I built part of the old town of Kayan al-Bashar. Basically, I tried building a city in Planet Zoo. Planet Zoo is probably not meant to build cities in, but then I also built the Hagia Sophia and Petra and what haven't I built? But anyway, so today is just going to be a small tour showing you guys what I have done so far. Basically, kind of like a catch up because all of this, or most of this, was built when I was on break. And I can already hear monkeys, so this is going to be fun. But anyways, we're starting off in the... I basically wanted this to be like the Ethiopian village area, and this was going to be like the last thing before you went just basically into the desert. Well, that has changed considerably because now it's just the part of the old town. That was very grammatically correct, I know that. But yeah, the warthogs are still here. I might want to replace them with the actual pigs because now that I've gone into modded animals, I want all my animals to change now. Mostly also the sheep. But anyway, so there's not much that has changed here. Also, I forgot to mention this when I actually built this place, but now that we're touring this place, I can talk about it finally. But these, or just clots, that's also grammatically incorrect, but you didn't come here for proper grammar or just proper English. I want to say proper English. What the hell is happening to me today? But yeah, the inspiration was just waves, because Kayan al-Bashar is in a desert and so far removed from the sea that I just kind of had the idea of like, yeah, maybe the people want to kind of have that illusion of like the waves crashing against their buildings, basically just water, because yeah, Kayan al-Bashar doesn't have a lot of water. Also, it's just nice to see the bell tower from here. Like, this is something where I really like having larger projects, because after a while things just slowly start to slot into place and you can really see in Kayan al-Bashar who has control, who holds the power. And then you start to see the first parts of the old town of Kayan al-Bashar. So, lighthouse with the crazy monkeys. You could see one there, but it's quickly moved away. But yeah, the lighthouse, it's actually maybe a little bit too small because, I mean, I went insane with the old town. Well, not really insane, this was expected, but also not. Again, this was supposed to be like the last bastion of civilization, and then you went into this desert. That all changed when that came to be. Now it's just part of the old town. Like, these are the outskirts of the old town of Kayan al-Bashar before they started moving up into the floating islands, because I mean, it makes sense that the first settlement in Kayan al-Bashar, or like the first places where Kayan al-Bashar was built, were just on ground level because you need to build bridges to get on top of the floating islands. So yeah, tallest building in Kayan al-Bashar, well, maybe not the tallest building. Maybe it is actually the... No, I think the towers of Tower Ridge are still higher. You can see only one of them from here. Again, you can really see who holds control in Kayan al-Bashar. You have the old town. You can actually see Griselda's, evil queen from Snow White's castle from over here as well. So every like castle is just higher than the actual old town. And yes, there's going to be massive farmyards in between the old town of Kayan al-Bashar and the new town of Kayan al-Bashar. So, before anyone starts wondering, no, this isn't the suburbs. Although it's probably going to look pretty similar. Going down, this was so difficult to make it work because I still don't know why I keep using paths. Because Kayan al-Bashar is not going to have any guests in them, but I still keep using paths to... I don't know, actually. Then the implied meerkat exhibit or habitat when we get meerkats. I think I keep zooming in. No, I don't. And then... well, I just wanted to have like a lookout area. Although it doesn't have that much to look out upon. So there's that. I hear more monkeys. Like there are two animals in Planet Zoo that I've sort of started to have like a love-hate relationship with. I want to burn every flamingo and penguin that I see. That's just a thing. And monkeys as well. Because, well, monkeys I don't want to burn, but they're just two of the loudest animals in Planet Zoo. Can we see one of the tamarin monkeys? I don't think so. I think they're all up there. But yeah, also yes, this is all accessible to the tamarin monkeys. Even this area. Although I haven't seen them that much down here. Alright, lighting glitches. Great. And also I want to have a huge like old gatehouse here. Like, not really a functional gatehouse, just one that looks pretty. But yeah, it would be like a perfect way. Let's just go a little bit faster. Now the old town of Kayan al-Bashar is definitely not finished. I mean, I need to build something here because now it's just a blank wall. And also, it needs to have a little bit more of like a proper, like, transition, because now it's just poof old town. But yeah, as I said, I'm just going to move a little bit faster just so that we can see the giants. But the old town, as I said, it's basically the place where Kayan al-Bashar was first settled. Like, this is just lore things, and people who are just like casually watching the series probably won't really understand this, but Kayan al-Bashar root-wise is like based on like Ethiopian, Arabian architecture, and then later on the Greek influence came in when it was colonized by Arcado. Again, lore things, but basically, if you see anything with Greek influence, it's newer. If you see anything with like a majority Ethiopian or Arabian influence, then it's an older building. That's basically how to sum it up very easily. And then I did show you guys the inside of this, right? When I built this, like, yeah, all videos just before I went on break are kind of a blur. Which really showcased that I needed to take a break if all my videos started to just sort of blur together. This is the most broken habitat ever. You also can't really see that well actually through the windows. It's always a little bit foggy. But yeah, the first idea that I had with this was, oh, this is just like a trade depot and the monkeys came here accidentally because smugglers. Now I'm just thinking like this is maybe the old palace of Kayan al-Bashar, or like before it was colonized, and then later on as they got wealthier and such, the new rulers of Kayan al-Bashar built that palace. And again, I actually really love just the look of this. I rarely take the time to just walk around Kayan al-Bashar. And no, this was not intentional. Again, this was supposed to just be desert. There wasn't supposed to be a town here or just like any sort of buildings. And then this happened. So, yeah. I wanted this to just be desert. And the trade depot to just be that and nothing else. Now it's basically the harbor of Kayan al-Bashar. The weird sandy harbor. But yeah, when it comes to this wasn't intentional, but again, it really shows who's in control in Kayan al-Bashar, which I really like when large projects start to slowly slot together like nothing in Kayan al-Bashar is really that planned out. Like, I know somewhat like, oh, the big city is going to be on the other ends of the Elysian Fields. Like, the palace was always supposed to be the highest place. Or, well, besides the Mirage Mountains. But this was literally just such a spur of the moment decision, but it still works. Also, I'm just going to head over here because this is something that I want to just have everywhere in the old town of Kayan al-Bashar. I want giant markets. Like this. I also want to just have people walking around here, but I know that my PC won't be able to handle any guests in here, but like just envision the murmuring, the yelling of like the market people, sellers. Damn it. Today I really don't have any comprehension of the English language, do I? But just think of this like fully crowded, people like getting all of their stuff here. If you buy an apple or so, it's going to get stolen by a monkey. Why are the monkey in boxes? Also, just take a look at this for 5 seconds and you'll see a monkey bug out. It's mostly there. There, floating monkey. Yeah, it was really fun to get like some kind of cinematic footage for that area, for this build, because I almost want to say, if you want to have birds in Planet Zoo, just put them on like the climbing system. It bugs out so many times that eventually you will see something fly. So yeah, you can literally just wait here 5 seconds and you'll see the game just slowly crashing in on itself. The Planet Zoo climbing system, I commend Frontier for trying it, but it's broken. It's really buggy. I really want to actually do a video on just like the climbing system and how it doesn't work. Well, that would mostly just end up being about all the animals in Planet Zoo, that they are in some way buggy. Again, commend Frontier for trying it. It's just, it needs some like, you know, how do you say it? Again, I've completely lost any notion of the English language today, but it needs some fine-tuning, I would say. Or overall. Yeah. This is basically what happens when I am 5 seconds away from a bird out, take a break, and then start building again. Most of this was inspired by Paris. Also, like, this was the first... Can I zoom out any further? Also, this is not going to stay a dried up desert here. I want this to have like an oasis, because again, it needs to, in my head, make sense why people settle here. And they didn't have access to any of the water on the floating islands before, so there needs to be like an oasis for why the people settled here, because they didn't have access to any of that. They didn't have access to that. Just imagine all of this gone. This would actually be a desert. So making this an oasis, why this is here then. But this was not the first building. This building was the first building, and I think you will see that because it's not really fitting with the rest anymore. And then these were the last buildings, and this was a middle one. You really see that like I went from all the color to none of the color to actually making the color make sense. Also, I just love the giant windows. Like, I imagine this is like a bar, this is like a coffee lounge. I want to say coffee shop, but because I'm Dutch, that has a different meaning towards it when I think of coffee shops. And well, Kayan al-Bashar, it wouldn't be the weirdest thing to have like drugs. Yeah. Again, like, I sometimes want to just start like basically cursing in the first few minutes of a video, just because I want to experience that yellow demonetization or limited ads. Like, I haven't ever had that, even though I talk about brothels and murder and all of that. But like, I keep saying this, like, this is a reoccurring theme on any of my videos. I want to get demonetized, and that is the most anti-YouTuber thing I think I will ever say. But yeah, I really like these buildings. Also, this building was inspired by Assassin's Creed. Well, it was not really inspired by Assassin's Creed, but someone on Pinterest made a like mock-up of like a Persian style Assassin's Creed, which, before anyone wonders, no, it's not anything in development. I think it was like an art project for a university, but they put it on Pinterest and I got inspired by the picture. Mostly the color scheme and the windows. But yeah, also really just, I can do this in Kayan al-Bashar still, but like the natural like earth looking walls, I prefer not to do it in Kayan al-Bashar because peace count. Also, yes, I finally used one of the buildings that I built on stream. Finally they have a place, and I might still change it because I want to use this in the suburbs. But yeah, now you get to see the unfinished area, because this, again, I want to have a market or actually a bazaar here, just overflowing, and this is not finished. And this is how all of these buildings started out, just as blocks. So this is going to be a building. I'm just like sort of planning where buildings go, which is new. And also I try to not make them rectangular blocks, so all of them have like a little bit of like a corner that is not the bridge. That's not really the right angle, or basically just don't make it a rectangular thing. And another building that I built on stream. Although I built it not for this place, but I used it in this place, and so this is actually the back of the building, which doesn't really work, but I was too lazy to build something different. But yeah, so for anyone wondering, so that's the next area that's going to be built up. There is going to be the Oasis of Aphrodite. So that's going to be fun, because yeah, I already said I wanted to become or have at least one video demonetized, just because like for me right now feels just like a rite of transition of just like, you know, getting that first video demonetized. Building a naked statue is maybe going to get me there. But yeah, I need to make a way to get up on that hill. Again, like, this is the sad thing when it comes to Kayan al-Bashar. It's so large that things just, like domes, just stop appearing. So there's a dome there. Now you only see a floating bit. But again, you really see who is in control in Kayan al-Bashar. And when you're living here, you're definitely not. Well, you might be like some wealthy merchant, but unless you frequently go up there, you are not in control. Also, I just love that, like, the cannons, I think some cannons are actually aimed towards the old town. So, like, as soon as the old town becomes a little bit rowdy, they just, like, obliterate it. But yeah, this is really just a harbor. So, it was basically just inspired by Venice and France and Ethiopia. I actually used the style of, like, those Ethiopian, like, they have those churches in Ethiopia which they literally carved into the ground or into the rock, and I used the style of the windows for the bridge. So yeah, that bridge, those, of course it's not a complete like recreation, because this is a bridge. What I used as a reference was a church, but yeah, it was one of the few times that I actually enjoyed building a bridge. Also, yes, there's glitchiness happening, but that's Kayan al-Bashar by this point. Like, if I worried about, like, things like textures overlapping and then glitching out, half of Kayan al-Bashar wouldn't be able to be built. I want flowers draped across these beams. Like, again, I don't frequently take the time to actually sit down, walk through Kayan al-Bashar, mostly because I can hear my PC crying, and my PC is like, it's a hefty PC, but it's still crying whenever it has Kayan al-Bashar up. Also, it really just, like, the layout of this. Again, this in no way was planned. I just got a mental breakdown, basically. I also shaved off half of my hair. Well, 1/3. I'm not going crazy. Also, breakdown is maybe too big of a word. I was just stressed and tired, and then I took a break, and in that break, for some reason, I also... Let's just move on before you guys all think I'm crazier than I already am. But none of this was planned. This was all just like, oh, let's take a break. I want to build something. Let's build an entire city. Well, it's now just one row of buildings, but it's going to be larger. And then we're going to get an oasis here with maybe some penguins or some fennec foxes. Fennec foxes, of course, makes a lot more sense than penguins, but I want penguins in Kayan al-Bashar. You guys aren't going to stop me. And no, it's not going to be as dense build. He has to wait until we get into the proper city of Kayan al-Bashar, because I still think that you would get shanked here at night. Like, the old town of Kayan al-Bashar and the suburbs both aren't safe at night. But yeah. There's also, like, I tried to get some warehouses in with the normal civilian buildings, because again, this is supposed to be like kind of the harbor. So there's a lot of just like sort of warehouse looking things right next to normal buildings. But anyway, that's going to be it for this tour. I might do this a little bit more often, just have like a small tour showing some small things and talk about things that I couldn't talk about when it came to like speed builds and such. I also want to make more of those like rant videos, just because I really enjoy just sitting down and ranting about a single topic, no matter how ridiculous it is, for just a few minutes. Well, most of them ended up being 10-15 minutes. Yeah, I also just want to have like a tier video of which DLCs I think are worth it and which DLCs I think are just crap. Of course, I will not say it like that, like basically just which DLCs are worth it and which ones, you know, you don't really need. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this tour. I'm going to get stuck on a table here in this bazaar, trying to find like a nice looking shot to end with. This is nice enough. But yeah, as I said, I say this 4 times I think by now. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, there is the like and subscribe button if you want to see more. There's the notification button. But before that button starts working, my PC will be happy and cheerful whenever I load up Kayan al-Bashar, and it won't take half an hour to load up Kayan al-Bashar. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, that's going to be it. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I wish all of you a wonderful day. Bye bye!